When you think of moments in your life that taught you about love, kindness, compassion, and loyalty, what do you think of? If you thought about your dog, either past or present, you are not alone. The bonds formed between mankind and dog has held firm for centuries, and for mushers, it's the reason they run. You can feel it in many ways, in the way they look at you, the way their fur feels between your fingers after a long, tiring day, and the way they kiss you after a good run, thankful for the partnership and activity you share together. It's unconditional. It's genuine. It's life-changing. We set out to explore the bonds between mushers and their teams because dogsledding is more than just a sport. It's a bond that lasts a lifetime.
Okay, I'm ready. I just hope I don't say anything stupid. Do I look okay? Is everything lit right?
You look great.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready to go?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Hi, my name is Robert Michael. I am 29 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California, where I work as an actor, producer, and director. I've also helped run and manage a few canine organizations in West Hollywood, but before any of this, from about 1996 until 2009, my family was heavily involved in the sport of dog sledding out of Michigan. Yes, Michigan. You probably weren't expecting to hear that. Alaska, though occasionally Antarctica, Greenland, Finland, Norway, or even northern parts of Canada, is the usual go-to place when you think of the sport of dog sledding. Harsh terrain, cold temperatures, Native Americans, Inuit cultures. It's also where most of the legends come from our American pop and film culture, including Snow Dogs, the Great Alaskan Race, The Call of the Wild, Balto, Togo. The list really is endless. Michigan isn't really a place you think of right away when you think of the sport of dog sledding, but it is a sport enjoyed by tons of mushers statewide. It is home to the UP 200, one of the top 12 dog mid-distance races in the Midwest, and also an Iditarod qualifier that stretches 238 miles from Marquette to Grand Marais. Of the organizations in the state of Michigan, my family was most involved with MUSH. MUSH stands for Mid-Union Sled Haulers, and we did that from about 1996 until 2009. My father, Bob, was the president for a time. My mother, Faith, was also on the board for a time. And then scattered in between those years, my family also helped co-found a couple of additional dog organizations, including MID, which stands for Michigan Dog Drivers Association, and the ARC, which is the Alaskan Rescue Coalition. But for the majority of our time, we were devoted to Mid-Union Sled Haulers, and it really was a life-changing experience. When you're a part of the sport, it sticks with you long after you've hung up the sled, and those memories that you've made with your animals last a lifetime. I know for me, my family, and the countless of mushers I've had the privilege of getting to know through MUSH and MID run the sport out of respect for their animals. Oftentimes even rescuing dogs from abusive situations and giving them a new home and a new pack to bond with. The bonds that mushers make with their teams is unbreakable. Long after those teammates have passed away, that bond still lives with them. And it's been a very long time since my family has raced and we've all relocated to different parts of the country, but I know that the spirit of the sport still lives with them. Now, some 11 years later, deep in the south of Texas. So, let's pack my bags and go pay him a visit. About 10 years ago, my father's job relocated him from our home in Mount Morris, Michigan to the small yet bustling city of Gateland, Texas. It was around that time that our dedication to the sport of dog sledding had to come to a close, beginning the next chapters of our lives. You can change your home, you can change your address, but you can't erase the memories after you leave. And I'm excited to dive into them again. For those that don't know, I want to start at the beginning. How did you get involved with the sport?
Well, it sort of happened opposite, meaning I got involved in the dogs first. Long story short, got into an Alaskan Malamute, started researching more about the breed and what they were used for, which led me to sledding.
We were actually looking at a particular dog, and behold, there was this Malamute in the kennel that popped his head up through the kennel, and he just kept looking at my husband. And my husband was looking and said, "Is that dog available? Is that dog available?" And I kept trying to get his attention and said, "Hey, we're supposed to be looking at this dog." But we ended up getting the dog that stuck his head up, and his name was Yukon. He stole our hearts. He was my husband's baby and an amazing, amazing lead dog. Very, very smart. And he basically taught our whole team. So I guess it started with Yukon. Him and Bob. Him and his daddy started the sport. And I miss him. I miss him to this day.
When we started, we were not searching to go out and win races, do the UP 200, aspire to do the Iditarod in Alaska. We were looking at being able to participate and articulate the sport that has long since been gone from the public eye, and be able to take that into public environments and share it with people.
I can't remember a time that we didn't have a Malamute in the house. We started with Yukon, and he was my dad's best leader he's ever had, in my honest opinion. And it wasn't long before we had a whole pack of them. They really are the most beautiful dogs that you will ever see. And that's probably because of where they come from.
The Alaskan Malamute is one of the oldest known sled dogs, utilized by the Malamute tribe in the region now known as Alaska. Originally used for hunting seals, warding off polar bears, and pulling heavy loads, the Alaskan Malamute is one of the most popular sledge dog breeds in the sport today, known for their strength and endurance. Harnessing a strong temperament, the Alaskan Malamute has a very independent mind of its own.
What was it about the breed that attracted your attention?
We were looking for a pet, a family, a friend that we also wanted to use in the sport of dog sledding, and the Alaskan Malamutes fit that to a T. They're more the Clydesdale of the horses. They're the bigger drafting dogs. A pack-oriented, very beautiful, working type breed dog. It encompassed everything that a man would want in a dog.
So while you were running with the team of Alaskan Malamutes, my sister Amanda was running with the team of Alaskan Huskies.
The Alaskan Husky, with origins in Alaska, was crossbred for workability and is a mix of many different dogs, in the Spitz lineage line, including the Siberian Husky, German Shepherd, Border Collie, and several others. Unlike their Siberian Husky and Malamute cousins, the Alaskan Husky has a much calmer demeanor.
I wanted to go fast and I wanted to win, or at least try to win. And on top of that, I was smaller. I was 8 years old, little girl when I started, and the Malamutes just overpowered me. I needed something that I could power versus powering me. When it's just you on the back of a sled and you're out by yourself, you need to be able to control the animals and control your team. If anything were to happen, heaven forbid.
As far as the placement in the race, there was no competition. One thing we had in common that we maybe did compete in was how well our dogs performed.
I always wanted to be as good as my dad. I looked up to him as far as the training side of dog sledding and what it took.
We always, both of us, always wanted to go out and put the best showing on to get the most potential out of the dogs as possible. How we finished, for me, I never wanted to come in last. I always had on paper probably the slowest dogs, but I can only remember one race where I got the red lantern. And there's a lot of other times we should have came in last, but we didn't. And it's because those dogs took every command, didn't get a tangle, didn't have to stop and fix a line.
It was a family thing, so no competition.
Tell me about some of the experiences you had that impacted you personally.
Thinking about it now, if you had asked me maybe 10 years ago, there'd be different ones. But if I think about it now, I really reflect a lot on when I started in the sport.
Here they come. There's my baby.
And having 2 dogs and going to our first rig session. These are training sessions you do prior to winter to learn, condition, and associate your dogs with other dogs in preparation for the snow and the racing. So I think a lot about how I started and how simple and how actually minuscule it was compared to how we ended. We ended with obviously a lot more dogs, a lot of equipment, a lot of commitments that we had made to clubs and organizations that we not only went and raced in, but we sat on boards and we helped facilitate these clubs running.
Just the relationships that you form with the dogs, I think, are some of my favorite memories. Taking the dog each time to the campfire at night with all the other mushers and just having them sit on your lap and, having the dogs one by one even during the middle of the weekday when you're not out working or sledding or anything like that, but one came in and slept every night. They knew their rotation. So those are definitely memories that I will never forget.
One of the biggest things I still remember is the Motown Winter Blast in Detroit. This was a winter festival leading up to their Super Bowl. And we, along with some other family members and friends we brought 96 dogs to camp on the streets of Detroit prior to the Super Bowl. And we picketed our dogs for the general public to come in and pet.
Many people touched and handled and kissed and loved and on our dogs, and our dogs handled it well. And I believe that's by training and raising them the way that we did.
I can remember so many people just being amazed at how loving and caring and friendly these dogs were. So this was really huge of us to take something we love and enjoyed, and we brought it out to the general public and shared some of that joy with a lot of folks.
You were a musher for years, and it takes a lot of patience, perseverance, and strength to continuously run and train a large team of dogs. I think people not even in the sport would understand and agree with that. But it also takes a lot of love. Would you agree?
So it's kind of sad you don't have them anymore. And it's like losing a family member that you only got to share for 10 years. You didn't get 60, 70 years with them, you got 10. That's what resonates with me, is you still miss them.
We'll never have another Malamute. Never. And the reason for that is because I don't think that we can never replicate. Those dogs were one of a kind. Our dog team that we had, in our eyes, I should say, was one of a kind. We loved them. They were our family. And you can't replace them.
I do have a little jar here that contains one of our last Malamutes that passed of old age. It has some of her hair in here. So before we took her, she had developed some seizures, and we had to take her into the vet. And due to her age and her condition, they recommended that we had her put down. So prior to taking her to the vet, I did a one last combing on her, and I was able to get some of her hair. So it's been in this jar, since she's been with us alive. And it's got a little picture of her when she was a little baby on the front. And this is just one of the little heart-kept keepsakes that we have, and with the different pictures that we have of the dog teams in our other bedroom.
In this picture book, we have photos of the entire team and also a special passage here. I know that it must be different now that I am no longer there. I realize how much I was loved and how much you all did care. I know it will be hard at first when you look around for me, expecting to find me in my bed or beside my favorite tree. Someday you will begin to see, although it will take some time, the happy times you shared with me. The memories are yours and mine. I'll remember you, my friends, and how much you meant to me. So please don't grieve and don't be sad. It was just my time to leave.
I'm grateful for not only the animals, but I'm grateful for the sport. I'm grateful for the people in that sport. Those people took me, my whole family under their wings. They taught us things. I was young. They definitely mentored me. I had a lot of great mentors in the sport.
You get out of it what you put into it. And we put our heart and soul into what we do. We don't do anything half. We go all in. And we have a lot of good rewards from it. I think those dogs taught me a lot. They helped me through a period in my growing up to an adult. All the love I gave them, they surely returned it, and then some. And I have nothing but fond memories of them, and I hope I can someday see them again.
Thank you for letting me teach you and raise you, and just thank you for being a part of my life and a part of my heart, and thank you for touching it in ways that I didn't know a decade later that I would still think about, still cry about. So thank you.
The dogs made it worth every minute, and I enjoyed it very, very much.
To say my trip to Texas was invaluable to this film would be an understatement. The stories told, the memories shared, and the remembrance of the teams that shaped our lives made this trip something I'll remember for a lifetime. With a heart full of love and a mask on for COVID, it was time to head back to Los Angeles to determine the next step of the journey. And I think it's time to return to where it all started, Michigan.
Michigan is a beautifully diverse state full of wildlife, recreation, farming, cities, arts, and native culture. It's also home to a wide range of dog-sledding families and organizations. Most people associate the state with their favorite sport team, politics, or having the largest freshwater lakes in the world. But to mushers, it's simply home.
Back in Michigan, countless numbers of mushers partake in the sport of dog sledding from late fall to early spring. And it surprises people, to learn that dog sledding doesn't just happen in the winter. We always assume that you have to have snow. But what do you do when there isn't any? During the autumn months, training season begins. In place of the traditional dog sled, three-wheeled rigs, motorless ATVs, and even scooters are used to prepare teams for the winter racing season.
Hi everybody, Annie with Mush in Fort Custer.
I wanted to interview Annie Hammond, the event organizer of the Fort Custer Dryland Race, so that she could further illustrate how the sport works in autumn. Also active in the fall months is Destiny Keel, so I wanted to interview her as well. I originally wanted to interview Annie and Destiny in person, but due to COVID-19 surging across the country and local guidelines restricting my travel schedules, I had to settle on a virtual interview. You know, 2020 has been a hard year for planning anything. I think we can all agree on that. But where there's a story to be told and a memory to be shared, there's always going to be a way. Hi, Annie. It's so good to see you. I was really hoping to come in, in person to interview you, but because of COVID, this was what I had to do. How did you get started in the sport?
I was lucky when I got started in the sport. My grandpa and I started together, and he was always interested in sled dogs. As a kid, he used to walk, barefoot to the library to check out the Jack London books.
Yeah.
He was always super into it, and he retired the year I was born in 1990, and it was like 98 when I was really into dogs. He needed a hobby in his retirement. He has a lot of property. He has 10 acres. So what question does an 8-year-old kid like more than, you want to go get some dogs today? I was so young at that time, I couldn't tell you how he stumbled on, with no internet, how he found a dog team for sale. But we went just a few towns over, and we were able to buy a team, a complete set, trained dogs, 3 dogs at once. It really helps to have a dog, a trained dog to start a younger dog with. He knew it was going to be best for me as a kid to start out with some really reliable dogs. So we were lucky to find those initial contacts in the sport, and I got a great team of dogs from them, and that was really my foundation right there.
So Annie, you organized the Fort Custer Dryland Race, and I was hoping to dive a little bit into that event and what does a typical day at Fort Custer look like, or a typical day of a dryland race?
With dryland, what that is it's wheeled or the human running component. And what that started out as years ago was just training, and those were the miles and the experiences. You went out and got under the dog's belt so they were ready for a winter race, a snow race even. And so it's progressed so much more, especially in the Midwest, especially in the past 10 years. It's no longer just a training aspect. We're able to really dial in, and we're able to have mini races. That's everything from a mountain bike to a specialized scooter, to people running, obviously like in their tennis shoes, and rigs, anything from 3 to 4 wheels. And so in those, kind of stylized mini races, what we're doing is it's an adjusted mileage because it's usually much warmer in the year. But you're talking October, November. Sometimes you can do an early spring one depending on your region of the country, maybe like a March, April. And so that mileage is generally more in like the 1.5, 2.5 mile range. And what's great about it is that it's so approachable, it's so attainable for beginners of that sport. So we're seeing a ton of growth there. It's such a accomplishable first step because you don't have to have a ton of high-end equipment. You can have a bike, you can have a pair of shoes. If you can run a mile, you're welcome. You can come out and be on the same trail as everybody else, experiencing those same things, and it really can initially level that playing field and be a great place for new people to join it.
Good girls, good girls. Homer! Good girls, good girls. Okay, let's go. You're welcome. Come on, let's go.
What are some of your most favorite experiences or memories with the dogs you currently have on your team, and also the ones that have passed away?
I would say I really like the racing aspect, crossing the finish line, with all dogs happy, and you accomplish that together with dogs who are well adjusted and excited to do what they do and happy to do it with you, and the achievement together and accomplishing that to me is the best feeling.
One training day, we went out on the sled and I gave the command to go paw or left. Wouldn't take it. So I was like, okay, fine, well, go longer. Instead of doing the nice, 6 mile, they wanted to do the 8 mile. So I was like, okay, well, I gave them the command to, again, go paw at the turn to go 8 miles. Nope, wouldn't listen. I was like, okay, well, then we're going 10 miles. By the time they got back, they were so tired. Every single time after that point that I gave a command, whether it be training or race, my female leader would nip him in the ear as soon as I gave a command to make sure he took that command. With that same team, a different training day, and we saw movement up ahead, and we weren't quite sure what it was. Lo and behold, it was a herd of deer, and they started jumping over the team. And they started jumping over the sled.
Really?
Yeah, I almost got hit by a deer. They could care less. Even the dogs were like, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? And you see the deer jump in front of you, and it's like, oh, this is not going to be good.
So Destiny, one thing I wanted to commend you for is rescuing your dogs. It's very important. It's a great way to give dogs a new home and a new life and a new pack. And I was hoping you could talk a little bit about maybe some of the experiences that you had that you would only have had because you rescued your dogs.
Right now, my official team is pretty much all rescues.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 dogs that aren't. But most of them are rescues. And I have one that isn't even supposed to be a sled dog, but she is. And she is my hardcore wheel dog, and I love her to death.
And nothing, I repeat, nothing beats a mush winter.
Participants in any event of the Mid-Union Sledge Haulers agree to abide by the following statement. There shall be no cruel, inhumane, or abusive treatment of any dog, through deliberate action or inaction, through knowledge or ignorance, with or without implement. Nor shall anyone deny a dog adequate care.
So Jill, thanks for joining me virtually. Let's get the big question out of the way first. How did the mushing journey begin for you?
I had a friend who had a dog that had one puppy who needed a home. So I got this free puppy. My kids were little. I thought, yeah, it'll be good for the kids. You know, this dog did not walk. You could not go on a family walk. He was just gone. He would run. No recall, no anything. Come to find out, his father was a husky. So I needed to get some of this energy out of this dog, started biking with him, which was a little dangerous for me.
I told my son we could get any kind of dog he wanted. So he did some research and he decided on a Siberian Husky. We found a sled at a garage sale. It just kind of started from there.
And I did get in with a group of people from the Mush Club, and that kind of got me started in the whole, got a sled with even just one dog. I got a sled, and then just started, I rescued a Siberian from Wisconsin to have 2 dogs, and that was my first race, 2 dogs.
I was vet tech, and I kept rescuing Huskies that people didn't want, so I ended up with about 10 dogs at one time.
The funny thing is, when I grew up, I had animals, but there was only 1 at a time or 2 at a time, a cat or a dog. But when I met Anne, she had 7 dogs, and I couldn't understand why anybody would have that many animals. When she decided to join with me in life together, the dogs came along with her.
One of Rick's narrow trails. It's a sled driving trail. Jeep.
Ted and Ann Nelson, as well as Jill Miller, are very active within the Mid-Union Sled Haulers organization. Jill also sits as the director of publicity. Now, some of my family's fondest memories in Mush were with these people, and with the people in general. Unlike my sister, who ran with a team of Alaskan Huskies, and my dad that ran with a team of Alaskan Malamutes, Ted and Ann Nelson, as well as Jill Miller, run their sled teams with Siberian Huskies. Probably the most widely known sled dog breed in our pop culture. You know, you could find this breed across the globe now, but where did the breed originate?
Siberia. 5 million square miles of dense forests and mountain ranges, and home to roughly 34 million Russians, including the indigenous Chukchi people of eastern Siberia, the closest Asiatic relatives of the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The Siberian Husky, developed by the Chukchi people for sledge pulling, hunting, and companionship, can be characterized by their pointy ears and distinct eye color. Brought to Nome in 1908 for sledge dog racing by William Gusak, the Siberian Husky would become a preferred choice.
I love their sense of humor. They're very intelligent and they're very affectionate and they're beautiful. I've always wanted to sample them.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to get 3 of them.
Compared to the mainstream size, they're a lot more athletic. They seem to learn a little faster.
Leonard Seppala and his line of Siberian Huskies, led famously by Togo, are credited with running the longest distance of the life-saving serum run in Alaska in 1925. A relay of respected mushers was organized to expedite the delivery, and Seppala was chosen for the most unforgiving part of the trail. This life-saving journey, known also as the Great Race of Mercy, is commemorated every year with the Iditarod, a roughly 980-mile race from Anchorage to Nome.
You know, it's interesting to look back at the serum run because here we are, 2020, throes of a pandemic, vaccines about to be distributed. And it'll be interesting to see that in some of these remote villages and even tribes in Alaska and northern Canada, across the Yukon, etc., if they'll once again need dog sleds to help distribute this life-saving medication. It's interesting. Talk to me a little bit about the bonds that you formed with your team. I know your dogs mean a lot to you.
I mean, we formed a bond with every one of our dogs, and then throughout our life together, we have had probably over 60 dogs. And dogs passed over the years, and now we have 16. We've done television programs for news organizations locally to talk about both dog sledding and the love that people who do this have for their animals and the bond that they have with their animals.
Now, I'm getting the sense, as I hope the viewers back home will be getting as well, that your dogs aren't so much just a part of your team, but they're an integral part of your family.
It's so natural for us to be with these dogs and to train them and to enjoy them. It's hard to describe, but people say, you know, we love our dogs like our children. You kind of do. We're responsible for them, and we try to keep their lives as comfortable. And I'll lay at night and think, oh, I hope they have enough straw in their houses. I don't want them to be cold tonight. Or, oh, I hope their water didn't freeze. You have all these thoughts just like I did when my kids were little.
I've had pets in my life, but until I started dog sledding, and Anne is one who knows animals. She understands animals. She has this unique ability that she can see them different than a lot of people. I admire that about her, and that's a big part of her, and that's why I fell in love with her, is because of that love for animals that she has. When animals are pulling you around in the snow, having the time of their life, just enjoying it, and when you stop and they're panting and they're eating snow and you walk up and they look at you like, aren't we having fun now? And it's like, they're doing this for you, and they're having more fun than you are, and just that bonding with animals, I don't know how else you could replace that. That's a very special thing that Anne brought into my life with these dogs, and I would never have had it without her.
Good dogs.
My one lead dog, Frodo, he was just so smart. And he was kind of quirky that way, you know. The other dogs kind of look at him differently because it was so smart. And he would pop the gate of my kennel up using a stick. Well, we were at a race in Drummond Island, and we were like in the lead, I think, for first place. Came to the spot where you turn left to go to the finish line, and he didn't want to. He wanted to keep going. And I could see the second place person coming up, and we had this argument out there of like, turn left, let's go in, let's go in, let's go in. This is the second day, come on, we got first place, let's go in. He would not do it. And that person passed me, and she took that left, and he didn't even follow her. And I made him go, and I wish I would have just let him go, you know. Stop. I wish I'd have let him go and just enjoyed it again one more time.
They're never forgotten. Every dog we've had, we remember. We live out in the country, and the dogs that have passed are all buried out here, and we have their names all on a post. And we go by that every time we leave the chute with the dogs. And those dogs are still part of this kennel. We go by them every time our dogs go out. And And our dogs are, a lot of them are progeny of those dogs that are buried. Their parents and grandparents are buried out there. Our kennel is together from the start, and they'll be together until the end.
Pete.
Looking back, it's like that race really didn't. I don't care if I got, which I ended up second place, which I don't even care if I would have got first. I wish I would have just gone through that whole track again with him, because that's what he wanted to do, you know? And it's like, you can't get that back. I wish I'd have let him go.
I know a lot of people's memories are from out on the trail, but I get a sense that you've got a lot of other memories that you hold on to.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun memories, and just out training, just, you know, out with me, just me and the dogs. We live right on Saginaw Bay, and there's this lighthouse that's like 7 miles out, and we had a really cold winter. This ice was 2 feet thick, and I just had it in my head that we were going to run a dog team out to that lighthouse, and we had support of the community of my small town of All Gray. We had a battalion of people that showed up with snowmobiles. There was like 8 teams at least that came out just for this one weekend thing. Ran out to the lighthouse 7 miles out. We had to even cross this pressure crack that was like 2 feet maybe apart, and you could see right like straight down to the bottom of the lake. Didn't even scare the dogs. Such a great day. It was just epic.
Now, Jill, you do a lot to help educate on the sport of dog sledding as well, correct?
I've been doing demos with our school, you know, and surrounding schools for years now, so that they don't grow up and have that stigma that we're, you know, forcing these dogs to run, and they can see the excitement in the dogs. I mean, there's no holding them back, you know. Once they see that, and, you know, I've given their teachers a ride, and it's like, they just think that's the coolest thing ever.
Education about the sport of dog sledding is very important for the public to try to do away with the negative stigma about what the sport actually is, and be able to see, you know, the love behind the sport, and the joy and the excitement, and the passion that people and their dogs have for it. And, you know, a gang line, the central rope that holds a team together, cannot pull itself. And there's one musher far away in Massachusetts that I do not know, that has really taken education to the forefront of his life. And I think it's important to see what he has to say about all of this.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Massachusetts. I'm your host, Bob Tremblay.
Bob Tremblay hosts an informative YouTube channel series called Massachusetts and Bay State Backcountry, which seeks to educate people about the sport of dog sledding and its various forms. I thought it was important for me to get a perspective from someone I do not know, from a place that I have never been to, at least to experience dog sledding, to see how the sport has changed his life for the better.
My name is Bob Tremblay. I am a professor of outdoor education, adventure education at a local community college, Greenfield Community College. I'm the department chair of adventure ed and outdoor leadership. So I teach students all their outdoor skills: rock climbing, winter mountaineering, whitewater canoeing, wilderness rescue, all for it. And my students go on to work at places like the National Outdoor Leadership School or Outward Bound or wilderness therapeutic situations.
So we'll start with the obvious. Tell me how it all started.
It would have been probably 1994, 1995. I had a Shepherd Husky for 15 years prior to that. And I used to do a lot of backpacking with my Shepherd Husky. And she hiked, I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail. She did about 500 miles of the Appalachian Trail with me. we did a section of the Continental Divide and the Pacific Crest, and we did a lot of backpacking with this dog and I. And when she passed on, I went about 6 months without a dog. And then we were finally ready to get another dog. And so my wife and I, we said, well, let's get an Alaskan Malamute.
Good choice.
When she was very small, literally, 10 weeks old, my father-in-law had given us a little toy sled. Tiny. It was like this big. And we would hitch her up to it just to take pictures because we thought it was cute. But she loved pulling it. And so every time we would take her out for a walk, this little puppy, she'd want to pull this little toy sled. And I never intended to get into mushing. And then as she got bigger, we would take her out, and next thing you know is we'd have to hook her up to a toboggan, and she would pull a toboggan around the yard. And then we were given a dog sled, and we realized, well, she needs a companion, so we got another, a male, and then we had the 2 dogs, and then they taught us to dog sled. Is the short story. Just going out with them and reading books, and it's what they wanted to do, and the 4 of us all learned together. And so then we bred those 2 twice and had 2 litters out of them, and we kept all the dogs. And so I had a team of 12 Malamutes for several years till they started passing on.
Well, we're back to the car. We probably ran about 1.5 miles, maybe just shy of 2. The dogs loved it. They were really tearing into the snow. I wish there was more snow. There's definitely some big bare patches that I had to run across, but when we had the snow, I had great glide. Oh, they were moving good. There was a lot of low-hanging snow on the branches, a lot of ducking, and I got dumped on a few times, but it's great. This is a real treat for Halloween, so and hopefully a sign of a great winter to come.
I love being out there in the woods because you end up learning to experience the natural world through their senses, because by being alert to the dogs I'll see that they'll respond or they'll turn to something they hear or smell, and it's something that I can't pick up, and I know they're not lying. And so I'll always try to pay attention to what are they responding to, how are they interpreting that? And I just find that very exciting because I see the world through literally completely different eyes, because I try to see what they're cueing into, what they're responding to, taking them for a walk. And it's actually a video I'm going to shoot, but you know how when you're walking your dogs, they're all over the place, they're sniffing here and there, and that's their social media. They're going out there and they're smelling and sniffing things, and that's how they're checking who posted here today, who is the best, what do they eat, who are they with, how old are they single? That's their social media, and I just get I love being with them because I experience the world through their senses. They're very much an important part of our lives. They live in the house with us, they sleep with us. We're within feet of them probably 16 hours a day. Every time we go out, they're giving me a gift as much as I'm giving them a gift. And so the experience it's mutually beneficial. I personally think that the Nordic breeds, it's in their DNA, is to pull and to have these experiences. I think that, having whether it's a Husky or a Samoyed, or, keeping it inside or just keeping it chained to a backyard, or, not allowing it to get the exercise and the stimulation that it's wired to get, I think is irresponsible. And so people who don't understand and they think that driving dogs is literally is work to them, it's their joy.
Get yourself out there recreating with your dogs. Hey, start off with bike mushing. If it gets you excited, get a dog sled. But both are really fun, they're enjoyable, they're exciting. And if you subscribe to this channel, you can learn all about what to do with both. So again, thanks for watching. And I look forward to seeing you on the trail and on the next episode of Massachusetts.
Mushing is truly a magical sport. Not a day goes by that I don't think about those dogs that changed me and my family's life.
It's doggies.
Bunch of different people. This is Mount Morris, and it's one of the dog training sessions. I see you. I see you.
It's very cliche, but I would say thank you.
They're never forgotten.
I hope that you had a good life and that I was able to provide that. I guess you always look inside any dog or any animal you care about and wish you knew what they were thinking, because they can't tell us.
I've been burning up the track like fire, fire seen me through. Pick the right train, I could be rolling, rolling back to you. Take it now and see my face, man, sure no need to tell me this is the right train.
Our dog team that we had was one of a kind, and we'll never have another one.
My ticket, book my place, buckle up, let's go. I know that this is the right train. It's the right
Pets
train.
cannot stay with us for a lifetime, as much as we hope and pray and wish they could. They leave us. But for mushers, they don't actually leave. They stick with us. They leave tracks, like little heartprints in the snow.
And I've been burning up the track like fire, fire seen me through. Pick the right train, I could be rolling, rolling back to you.
Here's you and Kiana.